Grand Rising, beautiful souls. Grand Rising. I do believe I gave you 883 yesterday. $301 I gave you. $3984 is a traveler. Gave you 323. I do believe 441. 2268. One of my favorites. 6265. 689. I gave you 329. I promised. 2901. I told you would fall over and over and over again. 5440. Okay, South Carolina. New Jersey, 831. Nine three four. Let's catch up. Told you to watch out for the 046. Told you to watch out for the 7241. 4380. Pennsylvania, I told you 301 would fall over and over and over again. Pennsylvania got 103. And then they turned around and pulled the sum of 4 twice. 0, 0, 4. Nine 9942 can go to Michigan along with 2807 Iowa. 892 North Carolina number. They brought you your 405. 1595 0363. Indiana, I told you this number would fall over and over and over again. 186. 737. One of my favorites, 4413. I told you you would see 0786 over and over and over again. I also told you you would see 5, 4, 5, and 7, 0, 5. That's the South Carolina number. 7569, I told you would fall over and over again. 6541. I told you it'd fall over and over again. We're going to be getting rid of Rhode Island and replacing it probably with Mississippi. Rhode Island gave you your 8265 and 0306. I do believe I gave you that straight. We'll see. Delaware 07 4 11 2 and 20. And your 338. Your 338 is Florida and Georgia. 0308 I gave you. 7250 I gave you. Missouri I gave you 108. And I also gave you 489. I like that with a 1 and a 0 in the 4-digit now. I gave you 5977. Two 661 Virginia, ladies and gentlemen. Virginia. I told you this number would fall out over and over and over again. 441. I told you the sum of 9, 18, and 27 was prevalent. I also told you 450 would fall over and over and over again. Told you to watch out for 1053. Two 752 California. California got that repeat. I told you 278 would keep falling. New York. $897. I told you 481 would make its debut yesterday. I told you to watch out for 2909. 5778. New Mexico. Told you 634 was hot. I told you that my numbers do not stop falling. Y'all don't believe me. Zero 177 6960 and Mississippi 796. 318. Told you to watch out for 8203. Okay, let's go straight into the Discord, ladies and gentlemen, where we will see where everything transpired from. Okay, so as you can see, I promised the 329 combination would fall on yesterday's date. Again, if you cannot invest in the top two numbers, do not send me any money. If you cannot follow winning instructions, do not send me any money. And also, if you send me money and I tell you the first two numbers before you send me money, and then you send me money and say, I still don't understand, I'm going to send you your money back. If you've been watching me long enough, you should know the first two numbers are the strongest numbers with the highest probability of making money. You should know triple dollar signs and fire are also promised numbers. You should know the number 3 and the number 4 numbers are guaranteed. You should know that sometimes I will put double dollar signs guaranteeing a number. You should know that you should read the prediction. The prediction gives the date that you should invest in that combination. Moving right along, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to let you know when you need your pen and paper. That'll be for your North Carolina going forward. As a matter of fact, what I'll do is I'll just lift the phone up and go over some of these. We got 964, 963, we got 965, we got 820, 856, 528, 883. These numbers will be falling out for the VIP. Those are by way of Georgia. And the reason why I'm not showing them is because people pay good money for these numbers. I cannot just give them out for free. Okay, moving right along. 883, ladies and gentlemen. Promise kept. The only number on fire a 5-year-old can pick out. 883 dropped straight on that promise in Georgia. 101323. You're going to see these combinations. Watching out for 821. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see 961, 960, 530, and also 603. Those are by way of Florida, and they come from 323. Right there. Ladies and gentlemen, I had a conversation with 011. 011 said, look, promise your VIP. Promise your VIP. Make it the very last number you see, which is a strategic formula that I use where I can tell you exactly what numbers will do what they're supposed to do. Triple dollar sign 233. I told you I promised that big money pattern would also manifest between the dates 8-9 and 8-14. I also guaranteed it would go to Florida. Do not read anything into my predictions. Do not leave anything out. That was your 323 promise. Seven, 4, 3, 1. 7, 4, 3, 1, 4, 3, 8, 7. You're going to see 2, 5, 7, 6. Look for that in California. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see 6, 7, 3, 8. You will see 0, 9, 4, 6. 4, 3, 1, 0. Indiana, South Carolina. You're going to see 2, 6, 6, 6. Florida heavy. You can also say Rhode Island and Missouri. Watch out for 7, 1, 1, 0. And you will see 6, 6, 5, 2 in Florida. 2 states before, 2 states after. 7, 6, 2, 1, 1, 2, 4, 8, 0, 1, 3, 7. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see these numbers over and over and over again. That was coming from your Ohio evening. Nine, 2, 8, 4, Pennsylvania. You're going to see it in Michigan. I hope somebody's writing these down. Something telling me somebody's just listening. 200, 844, 294. You're going to see 187. You're going to see 413. You're going to see 286. You're going to see, as a matter of fact, your 286 is Ohio. 2 states before, 2 states after. Watching out for 765, 836. Those are all Ohio numbers. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, I do not play with my predictions. So I hear people crying, there's too many numbers. You don't need to be in this group if you see too many numbers. I'm telling you what to focus on, and you're not focusing on what I am recommending that you're focusing on. Again, if you would have just invested in the number one number, I recommend top two, but just the number one number, you would have won. 286 straight. Number one number promised. Ladies and gentlemen, again, if you're reading into the prediction, you're not going to get anything out of it. If you leave anything out, you're not going to get anything out of it. Again, 039, ladies and gentlemen, did not lie. It told me, focus on my top 5 3 digits, which I promise my top 2 big money patterns will manifest from 8-5 to 8-12. Also, guaranteeing it would drop in Ohio. Ladies and gentlemen, can somebody tell me what number, position, what the number was? If you're seeing too many numbers, you're locked into a losing mentality. And I don't want you to lose. All I want you to do is pay close attention to what I'm telling you will happen. 286 straight. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, my friends, are you seeing what I am seeing? Tennessee first draw on 8/6/2025 was 4124. The conversation that I had with 4124 should tell you that I am not lying. Numbers don't lie. People do. Again, focus on my top five four digits, which I promise my top two big money patterns. So from this day forward, if somebody sends me some money and say, what do I do next? I'm sending you your money back. I don't need your money that bad. I don't. Not for you to keep bothering me when I am out of the body, pulling back information to bring back to you real time. I don't have time to check emails. I don't have time to go to DMs. The only time that I have for is being accurate. Again, somebody tell me what position that number is in. Somebody tell me what do I recommend that you do. That's all I need. So again, I'm going to be sending lots of money back for people who start inboxing me what numbers to play. If you live in Georgia, play Georgia numbers. You can use the 7 catalyst states. I'm telling you catalyst states. But if you're in Florida and you're not playing Florida numbers, something's wrong. If you're in Michigan and you're not playing Michigan numbers, something is wrong. Why would you read into the prediction? Why would you leave anything out? Again, ladies and gentlemen, if you focused on my top five four digits, which I promise the top two big money patterns, I said will manifest, not might manifest, not I think manifest, or it may manifest. I don't do that shit, ladies and gentlemen. I don't have time for it. I went a step further and I said that it would manifest between the dates 8/6 and 8/12. Stop calling me. Stop inboxing me. Stop sending me emails asking me what to do. If you have been watching my YouTubes, TikToks, you should know what I am about. My clout is in the first two numbers. Now, when the other numbers drop, that's for my big money people. That's for my people who want to play everything and don't miss at all. I'm showing you how not to miss. But with people on budgets, I have to, you know, lean a little bit towards you so you can win too. And I do that every day with the first two numbers. Stop bothering me. Because when you bother me, it takes away from my accuracy. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I promise the number one number to fall in Ohio. And I can see that what's really happening is the value, the value. So I'm going to be increasing the value of my work because people are not finding value. You know, when I tell you that you can pay less than $7 a day for accurate information like this, you know, again, I try to make it where everybody can win, but I can see that everybody don't want to win. There's too many people that want to complain, too many people want to bicker and bitch, too many people who want to be desperate when this is not about desperation. Luck has nothing to do with what I do. I'm extremely proficient, efficient, and accurate. Ladies and gentlemen, for your Michigan 7560-3984, you will see 9731-5276. Watch out for 5276, ladies and gentlemen. Extremely strong combination. You'll see that number in Florida. You'll see that number in Ohio, Kentucky, Mississippi, you're going to see 3490 on fire, 7566, Ladies and gentlemen, 7566. As you can see, Michigan Evening on 810 was 3984. They told me, look, 7566 will roll out. I believe. I take damn good notes. And that there I screwed up. It wasn't promised, that's for sure. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Ladies and gentlemen, 3498 triple dollar signs. Boom, boom, boom. I promised that number would show up and show out in Michigan. You got 496, ladies and gentlemen. You got 301. I told you 301 right there, 301 right here. Promised to fall for my VIP. 496-206-748-632, you're going to see. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see your 239. Now, how do you like that, ladies and gentlemen? How do you like that? How do you like this information? How do you like this information? We're 301. Here's 301 right here. This is 301. These are in chronological order. Right? Right. 301. 301. 301 said, look, 239 will show up and show out. Put triple dollar signs on 239. So if I wasn't listening, there's no way that you would have knew that this number was going to surface after 301. Watch out for 899, only number on fire. Ladies and gentlemen, 6 hours before the number dropped, 6 hours, I was on it. I promised my top 2 numbers would drop. 6 hours before it made its debut, I was on the job. I told my VIP it would manifest on 810 in Michigan, guaranteeing it. Ladies and gentlemen, I put another number and promised it in the promised position 004. The same sum of that number told me, look, focus on my top 5 3 digits, which I promised the top 2 will manifest from 85 to 812. I also guarantee you would see this shit in Michigan. Promise kept 2 times, more than 2 times. I'm just getting tired. I'm getting wore out from repeating myself over and over and over again. Eventually, the L commissions are going to catch on. If I got to keep telling you what to do, they're going to learn. So again, this is why I have Discord. Congratulations, Pearl Rose. Somebody's listening. Ladies and gentlemen, there's your 310. Promise kept in only 15 hours. Triple dollar signed it as proof. But who's listening? Everybody think you're crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, 301. I promised it would fall along with the 103 following up behind it. 800-669, you're going to see 832. You're going to see 832 in Delaware. You're going to see it in Iowa. You're going to see it in New Jersey and Florida and Ohio. 2 states before, 2 states after. Watching out for, ladies and gentlemen, watch this. I want you to see this very, very carefully. Tennessee. Look, number 1 number. Number one number 064. Number one number, Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire. Boom, boom, boom. Ladies and gentlemen, where's that other one? Let's see here. Watch out for 795. 795 will continue to keep doing damage over and over and over again. Don't believe me, just watch. Ladies and gentlemen, there it is for you, right there. 795, guaranteed to fall straight. Focus on my top five three digits. I told you they will manifest between 88 and 814. I guarantee it would go to Tennessee. 795, guaranteed to fall straight. 795, guaranteed to fall straight. 795 will continue to keep falling straight. Ladies and gentlemen, I did one better. I told you 759, the number one number. How many people actually believe in my number one number? That's what I need to know. Because I need to stop going live so often. Because it seems like the more I go live, the more clientele I pick up. But it seems like the more I go live and say the same thing over and over and over again, it dumbs people down and they get lost in the sauce. I'm telling you, a 5-year-old can pick the first number and fire. Again, your number one number will always be the number with the highest probability of making a change. 9188, boom, boom, boom. Where you go, 9188? Where you go, 9188? Right up here, ladies and gentlemen. Boom, boom, boom. I told you to watch out for one of my favorites. 1988, year of my eldest daughter. Zero 7620. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see these combinations over and over and over again. You can see that number in Mississippi, Pennsylvania, Indiana, 2 states before, 2 states after. You're watching out for 7032, Mississippi, South Carolina. It is on fire. Watch out for quad zeros. Oh, we've got to finish that New Jersey book up here. New Jersey 4754. Ladies and gentlemen, can you see what I see? Promise kept. The only number on fire. 7484 did not lie to me. So we should be thanking 7484. We should be thanking the universe for not lying to Mr. Bascomb. 3365. I promised that combination would go to Georgia, ladies and gentlemen. That's if you believed. Triple ones, triple ones, triple ones, triple ones, triple ones right there, and triple ones down here. I promised that it would keep moving in the positive direction. I told you my numbers are not ordinary combinations. These combinations tell me, hey, look, I'm going to keep reappearing over and over and over again. But yet I got people inboxing, emailing me, and just putting little small notes into my prediction. That number just fell last night, Mr. Bascomb. I don't give a shit. I don't. If the number tells me I'm coming back, if I don't believe it, guess what? I miss it. If you don't believe me, you miss it. What part of this you don't understand? Boom, 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 boom. Number two number. Over and over and over again. Focus on my top five, 4 digits, which I promise. The top two. 1, 2. Ladies and gentlemen, I know what I'm doing. I told you they would manifest between the dates 8-5 and 8-11. I also guaranteed it would show up and show out in North Carolina. Boom, 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 boom. Watch out for 322. Watch out for 101. Watch out for 761. Watch out for 763 in Indiana. You will see it in Georgia. 689 is a North Carolina combination. Watch it go back to North Carolina. But that number just fell in North Carolina yesterday midday. That don't mean shit. This is why you can't hit, because you're not believing. You're stuck in a realm of what we call stupidity. Stupid is as stupid does. That was in a movie. Ladies and gentlemen, if I know a little something about numerology, and I prove to you every single day that you don't have to look at all of the numbers. When you see a page full of numbers, know that it's not for you. But if you see a page that has a number one number and you know my signature work, then you should know that that number is gold. Again, ladies and gentlemen, it's not going to be as easy as I make it, because there's going to come a time where they're going to have the TV screens going off for a couple of seconds before they pull a number, because Mr. Bascomb don't play with his predictions. 601, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to see that 601 in Missouri. You know 601 is the sum of 7, 25, and 16. So when you see those sums, you want to roll with those combinations. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's see here. You're 896. How many people are really paying attention to my predictions? How many people are really paying attention to my predictions? I can see that a lot of you are paying attention. About 10 people sent me $20 yesterday. 10 people sent me $20 yesterday because they couldn't take it no more. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I make this look relatively easy. I make it simple enough for a 5-year-old to win with. So that means that a 5-year-old would not have to go to school to be a fool like fish. You don't have to go get an education. Education was meant for animals. Again, ladies and gentlemen, follow my first two numbers. You can get away with the number one number. So, how many times today, since you've seen me live, have I showed you that number one number is extremely powerful? 986, ladies and gentlemen. That combination, I promise, the number one combination would serve you well for investment purposes only. I am not a gambler. Why would I gamble if I know I would lose? Why would I gamble? Why would I put you in a position to lose more than what you've already lost? Why? Don't make sense, does it? This is why you need to pay attention. 669-441. You already know 441 dropped in Florida straight. You already know that 441, one of my magic numbers, fell straight in Virginia on a promise. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see 248. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see 485. Ladies and gentlemen, that will be in California and Kentucky. Watch it in Iowa. You're going to see 50 deuce. You're going to see 206. 728, ladies and gentlemen, 728, 728, 728, 728, 728, ladies and gentlemen. I promised 728 would show up and show out. 728, I triple dollar signed, and I also told you to focus on my top 5 3 digits. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, look at this. 728 was the top 5 4 digit. I need you to watch out for 209. That's the sum of 11, the sum of 20, and the sum of 2. Ladies and gentlemen, there's your 441. 441. I promised this number would fall straight out the gate. Oh, pay close attention. 17 hours before the number dropped, I told you it was going to fall straight. Seven five four three. Write that down. You'll see that in New Jersey. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see 8226 in Florida. You will see 1286, ladies and gentlemen. You will also see 1655. Very strong combination. I need you to watch out for 9170 and 3286. Your 3286 is a Mississippi number, a Rhode Island number, 2 states before, 2 states after. Don't leave out Michigan. You will see 8734. 8734 is extremely strong. You'll see that in Michigan, Georgia. And Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire. 335, ladies and gentlemen, 443. 335 and 443, you will see. You're also going to see, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to see this with your own eyes. I want you to see this with your own eyes. I want you to see how numbers don't lie. As you can see, Ohio midday was 443, right? You see it right there, 443. What did 443 tell us to do with the very first number? That's all I want to ask you. And then I want to tell people who've been inboxing me that they've been in groups that where they do the same thing, give you a whole bunch of numbers. I am not like any other group out here. Ladies and gentlemen, the number one number was 013. The number one number was 013. That number fell twice yesterday on the strength that 443 told me, look, 013 is going to be your best combination. It has the highest probability. The law of statistics, the law of randomness say that this number will produce a win. But ain't nobody believing me. People still think Mr. Bascomb is crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see 967. You will see 401 over and over and over again. Look for that in Iowa. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see 137. Your 137 is extremely strong. And you will see 146. Your 146 is extremely strong. Anytime I tell you that a number is extremely strong, that means that it's no matter what. That means that I put a P on it. I'm trying to get out of being banned. So again, I slip and I say it over and over and over again. You know why? Because it's the truth. And the truth just seems to hurt these platforms. 7298, ladies and gentlemen, you will see, I'm telling you, you will see 0613 in South Carolina. You are also going to see 5424. Look for that number in New Jersey and North Carolina. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see 4225. You're watching out for 8039 in Delaware. You are going to see 2495, 7254, and 3870. You see that in Pennsylvania, Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire. Okay. 822, ladies and gentlemen, 633, ladies and gentlemen, you will see these combinations. $284, no matter what. You should know what no matter what means. 183, you will see no matter what. Now I'm going to put this phone down a little bit because we have to show you that we're not playing with these predictions. Somebody tell me why 633 told me the truth. Somebody tell me why 633 told me the truth. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time stamped at 1:28 p.m. yesterday. 633 told me the truth. It said, look, 284 183. Promise those VIP, these numbers will show up and show out over and over and over again. Look at this right here, ladies and gentlemen. Would you look at this? Would you look at this? Would you look at this? Promised. Would you look at this? Would you look at this? 318. Promised. Moving right along, ladies and gentlemen, there's your 633. How about that? How about that, ladies and gentlemen? 633. On fire. My 5-year-olds would have won that one. Again, I promise, fire will manifest 8/7 to 8/13. I also guarantee you would see this shit in Michigan within the next 24 to 48 hours. Straight. Stop playing with me, ladies and gentlemen. I am not your toy. $8014, you will see. 8071, you will see. 2309 on fire. Look for that in New York. You'll also see it in North Carolina. Watch out for 5140, Kentucky, North Carolina. You'll see it in Ohio. 9392, Michigan. 8392, Michigan. 0206, Michigan, Florida. 5679, Missouri. 834, Deuce. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see this combination over and over and over again. Start off with it in Michigan. And you can see it in Mississippi. 7910, 5696. Watching out for 5698. 0195, Iowa. Ladies and gentlemen, your 8342. I promised my number one number would fall. See, this is what really gets under my skin. Usually, I'm not favorable to emotions. Emotions are just your energy in motion. When your energy is in motion, going everywhere but where it's supposed to be in that vessel that you're in, guess what? You can't be accurate. You can't be precise. But again, every time I see my number one number drop out and I hear people crying, bickering, fussing, bitching, just don't have a clue of what I am actually telling them. If I tell you the number one number, again, I'm going to begin to just be here with lesser and lesser words. Because words is what kills everything. The words are the curse. The words are the spells. That's why they call it spelling. Even when you're writing, you're performing a ritual. But ain't nobody listening to you, Mr. Bascomb. Just keep on doing what you're doing, sir. Okay, so you got your 8432. I promised that number would fall in Georgia. I told you all you had to do was focus on my top 4 digits, which I promised the top 2. But what fifth? The number 1. But ain't nobody listening to you, Mr. Bascomb. Okay, let's see here. Five oh four 809 491 781 773. You will see 773 drop in Indiana. The only number on fire. And this is the reason why I pulled the phone away from the screen. Because I got people that are inboxing me complaining, but then I got people that's stealing my predictions and reselling them as their own work. Now, what kind of shit is that? Again, ladies and gentlemen, the only number on fire will do what it's supposed to do. Watch out for 774. Watch out for 089491. You will see these combinations, believe it or not. Kimberly is one of my best VIP members. Kimberly knows how to invest her money. Kimberly knows exactly what I'm talking about when I tell you the first 2 numbers will do. Congratulations, Kimberly, and I appreciate the gifts. 899, pen and paper ready. 373, you're going to see that in Indiana. You're going to see 096, ladies and gentlemen, over and over and over again. again, Mississippi. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see 506, 571. 394 is extremely strong. 394 is so strong that I guaranteed it would fall yesterday, and it did. Watch out for 913 now. 913 South Carolina. 913 New York. 913 New Jersey. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see 604. If you remember, I promised that number would fall. There it is, promise, 046. 3874. 3874. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see that number over and over and over again in Michigan. 8790. Your 8790 is a Indiana hookup. You'll see it in Pennsylvania. Write that down. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see 6215. You will see 0734. You'll see those in South Carolina. Watch out for 4330. You'll see 004B. You're watching out for 0334. Those are by way of North Carolina. As you can see, I wasn't playing around, ladies and gentlemen. I guaranteed that 1265 combination would roll out for my VIP. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, I went a step further and I said, fuck the bullshit. I'm going to promise 1265 will fall so nobody will miss. How do you like me now? And also, you'll see that number in Florida now. One 987-6701 7159. You're going to see 9745 in New Jersey, 8060 you'll see in Delaware, 9271-1971-7159. You're going to see these combinations roll out. I would say Iowa and South Carolina. Your 6701 is extremely strong. It is the only combination on fire. 944, ladies and gentlemen, you will see. I need you to watch out for your 669. It is the only number on fire. Watch out for 209, some of 11, 2, and 20. You'll see that number over and over and over again. Iowa, 248. I've given you at least 5 times. You should be able to ascertain that that is a huge big money pattern that Mr. Bascomb is serious about. You will see 485, ladies and gentlemen. 485 is extremely strong. You're going to see that in California. You're going to see it in Kentucky. You're going to see it in Iowa. 2 states before, 2 states after. Those numbers are by way of Florida. Ladies and gentlemen, there's your 287. I wasn't playing around. The number 1 number. I promise. And I met my deadline. Come on now. Somebody need to say this motherfucker is great. I'm meeting deadlines every single day. Who does this? Me. 744044. You're going to see that in Pennsylvania. 623-310. Boom, boom, boom. There's your 310 right there. There's your 310 where? Right there. Boom, boom, boom. I told you over and over and over again, numbers don't lie. 857, you'll see 620-138. Boom, boom, boom. Your 138 dropped out twice yesterday for my VIP. Watch out for 709. Those numbers are by way of Georgia. There's your 620. Look at that. Triple dollar sign. Triple dollar sign and promised it. What did they drop? 62 motherfucking 0. Y'all need to stop playing with me. Look at this right here, ladies and gentlemen. Would you stop playing with me? Would you stop playing with me? Do you see 3015? How many people see that? How many people see that I triple dollar sign that number? How many people know that that it's the very last number you see. It's an allegory. The first will fall last, and the last shall be first. Ladies and gentlemen, my last just fell first. Ladies and gentlemen, there you go. 1053. I promised my VIP that that shit would fall. But ain't nobody else believing me but my VIP. So I'm only addressing the VIP. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see 9264. Guess what? No matter what, Pennsylvania. You will see 7651. That's a very strong combination. You see that number in Kentucky. Don't believe me? Just watch. Watch out for 5784 New York. You will see 5513 over and over again. Look for that in Virginia. You're going to see 2706. Look for that number in Delaware and Pennsylvania. Your 8163 is Ohio. 2964, ladies and gentlemen. I guarantee this number would make its debut from 6919 telling me the motherfucking truth. How do you like me now? In detail, between the dates 8/6 and 8/12, guaranteeing the number 4 number would drop in Georgia. Who can do this? Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. A guaranteed investment for the VIP. Y'all better leave me alone. Ladies and gentlemen, I went a step further and I promised that shit. Because I think people, they don't believe in guarantees. A lot of people don't even believe in promises. People would tell me promises was made to be broken. Not mine. Not mine. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm doing it. Every single day, I'm dropping them like it's hot. Do you see the fire on that number? How many people see fire? How many people see the only number on fire? Georgia, between the dates 8/6, 8/12. But ain't nobody listening to you, Mr. Bascomb. You might as well hang that shit up. 6872, you will see. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see that in Mississippi. You're going to see 82542782. You're also going to see 52649301. Over and over and over again. I am giving you the same damn numbers. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see 2778 in New York. You'll see it in Pennsylvania. 2 states before, 2 states after. Watching out for 2524. Look for that number in Georgia. Nine three one zero, extremely strong. You'll see that number in Virginia. You'll see that number in Ohio. And as you can see, we caught it in Texas. That means that Texas will roll that number out again. Don't believe me? Just watch. Watch out for 344. You will see 335. You're watching out for 146. We already captured that one. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see 137 over and over and over again. 013. How many times do I have to give you 013 in the number 1 position before you believe me? I told you numbers don't lie, but apparently there's a lot of you who don't believe that. That's what I'm actually believing that. You're 550, 655, you will see. Ladies and gentlemen, 452, 740, you will see. These numbers are extremely hot. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see 862. This is coming from your 583. Ladies and gentlemen, your 86 deuce went right there on a promise. Do you see that? On a promise, right there in Ohio. Watch out for 583. Watch out for 185 in Indiana. You will see 691. There's your 583. Top two numbers, promise. Y'all better leave me alone. Look at that, 1053. How many times I got to give you the same damn number over and over and over again? Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be retiring early. That's what I'm going to do because y'all not listening to me. Ladies and gentlemen, I told you 1053. Numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie. I'm going to end up tearing up this damn phone. That's what I'm going to do. Look at this. Look at this. Very last number you see is an allegory. The first will fall last, and the last will make money first. 1053. I declared, I decreed, I promised that shit would fall straight. What did it do? Fell straight for my VIP. Appreciate the gifts. Ladies and gentlemen, watch out for 8752. Watch out for 7153. You'll see that in South Carolina. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see 8753, New York, 6424. You're going to see 8754 and 3375 over and over and over again. Ohio. 4603 3951 7086. Ladies and gentlemen, look at this. 7086 straight. I told you move that 0 4 times. You can hit all of my numbers straight 97% of the time. And that's a promise. The number one number. This is what pisses me off. The number one number is all you have to invest in, ladies and gentlemen. Please don't make it seem like it's harder than that. 69212654. Watching out for 0697 and 1632. Ladies and gentlemen, 9521. Straight! I promised it would fall straight. Why are people still bothering me? That's what I don't understand. Triple dollar signed it. I put it in writing. Focus on my top 5 4 digits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Straight. Triple dollar signed. Boom, boom, boom. Will manifest. 8-8 to 8-14. I also guaranteed the shit would go to Michigan. But ain't nobody listening to you, Mr. Bascomb. 114277. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see 096. How many times I gotta give you 096 before you believe me? 589, 520, 854, and 610. There's your 502. Top 4 numbers. This is actually the number 3. 1, 2, 3. Numbers don't lie. The numbers don't lie. The numbers told me. Focus on my top 5 3 digits. 1, 2, 3. Right? Then it said it would manifest between 8-7 and 8-13. Right? It said also guarantee the number 3 number. 1, 2, 3. But ain't nobody believing you, Mr. Bascomb. You might as well shut this shit down and just do it for yourself. Because you the only one that believe in the shit that you speak it. 688, you got 205. I told you the numbers will tell you over and over again what's going to happen. You just have to believe. 395, 895, 983, you will see. Watching out for 394. Ladies and gentlemen, 859, number 1 number. How can you go wrong? How can you stop? This is not right, ladies and gentlemen. This is not right. You mean to tell me I could just write down that number 1 number and you still wouldn't fucking play it. That's what you're telling me. I'm telling you what to do, but nobody's listening. At least according to my Cash App, my Venmo, my PayPal, my cryptocurrency. But again, when I was doing this for myself, my higher self, we was knocking out 1 grand a day. We was doing this so easy, we didn't have to get up at 2 in the morning. We could get up at 11 a.m. and just go do it. But because I have people depending on me, I make sure that I am extremely accurate. And people still don't care. Ladies and gentlemen, again, the number one number. Don't send me any money. If you send me money and then inbox me, what do I do next? I'm going to send you your money back. And I'm going to tell you what you should do next is find another group. That's what I'm going to do. I'm telling you, I don't need your money. I need you to listen. Then your money will be good to me. But if you're not listening, your money's no good because what happens is you're going to be giving me money and then you're going to be complaining that my numbers are not falling. But what is really happening is you don't know how to follow winning instructions that are so simple that a 5-year-old can win with these strategic formulas. Again, ladies and gentlemen, you can just play fire. You can just play triple dollar signs. You can just play the top two numbers. You can just play the number one number and win. 3210. Look for that in South Carolina. 8889. Only number on fire. 7610. South Carolina. You'll also see it in New Mexico. 7210. 7465. You'll see that in Kentucky. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see 7650. Extremely strong combination. I need you to watch out for 7566. That's another 7566. Boom, 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 boom. 7566 right there. Boom, 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 boom. California. California. I guaranteed that number would fall, but ain't nobody listening to you. Watch out for 8120. 8120 is Delaware. It's South Carolina. 2 states before, 2 states after. 8654 7993. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see 8973 and you will also see 7940. Watching out for 6608 deuce deuce. You will see 965. You will see 749. You will see 903. No matter what. You will see 750. 750 guaranteed. 750 Kentucky. 902. How many times I gotta give you 902 before you believe me? 822. I'm giving you the numbers over and over and over again. I promise 822 would fall straight by the deadline date. 822 fell straight by my deadline date. Watch out for 994, 119, 179, 923. Your 923 is extremely strong. It went to North Carolina on that promise. Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to see 265346 over and over and over again. Your 346, I promise, would go to New Mexico. 346 went to New Mexico on that promise. Ladies and gentlemen, 810, 810, Missouri. I told you my numbers sing a song. That's 3 hits off of one prediction. Ladies and gentlemen, 123, you will see. So, ladies and gentlemen, check it out. You got your 346, your 810, your 923, your 286. They sung a whole damn melody in that one prediction, but nobody was listening to Mr. Bascomb. 364 right there. Promised. 9135. How many times I got to give you 9135 and tell you it's going to go to Iowa? You're going to see 7351 in South Carolina. You're going to see 0264 over and over and over again. Your 0264 is Ohio and Delaware. Ohio and Delaware. 7350 you will see Delaware. 7349 you will see Kentucky. Watching out for 7342, watching out for 3620. Your 1335 is protecting all of those numbers. Congratulations, Melissa. 9063 you will see. You're going to see 6543 over and over and over again. Watch out for 2871 9039 9030, ladies and gentlemen. 9030, ladies and gentlemen. Your 9030 is New York. 9030 is Delaware. 9030 is Rhode Island. 2 states before, 2 states after. You're watching out for 9043. You're watching out for 2871 8172 9039 New York. And also Michigan. 9065 is your only combination on fire. New Mexico. 1287 you will see over and over and over again in Pennsylvania. You see, I promised that number would fall by placing the only number with fire on it. I told you my numbers are not ordinary numbers, but you won't believe me. You got 291, you got 719, you got 871, 938, you got 306 and 316. You will see over and over and over again. Ladies and gentlemen, there's your 938 straight. Ladies and gentlemen, 893, number 1 combination, which you all should know that I promise these numbers. So if you see me go live and you never hear me mention the word promise or guarantee, that means that I am secure in what I am doing. And I no longer have to tell you what's going to happen. You just have to believe it. Because when I tell lottery commissioners that I promise a number, that's scaring the shit out of them. Because they know that this is going to happen. They know this. They know this. But you don't. So, again, ladies and gentlemen, you will see in the future me just coming to you with very few words. I'm just going to come with the numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. 32 numbers I guaranteed would fall on 8/10/2025. I promised 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. 27 of the 32 I promised would fall. Straight, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 times on a Sunday. You would have won straight. I promised 1053 would fall straight. I promised 441 would fall straight. I promised 441 would fall straight over and over and over again. I promised 633 would fall straight. I promised 443 would fall straight. I promised 286 would fall straight. I promised 795 would fall straight. I promised 883 would fall straight. Ladies and gentlemen, I am weather worn out. I really and truly am. I don't even have numbers to give you to run with. That's how wore out I am. Again, when you become absent from the body, there is no God. When you become absent from your body, you are God. There is no such thing as a sky daddy. Again and again and again, I will tell you, you are a multi-dimensional being. You are supercharged, electromagnetic. There is nothing on this plane of existence that you cannot do. I prove it every single day with what you see me doing here with numbers. But at any rate, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to see you at the winner's table no matter what. Again, starting today, if somebody sends me money and they send it by way of the website and they purchase a package, I am going to ask you for your Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, whatever it is, so I can refund your money immediately because you're not watching my videos. You're definitely not paying attention, and it means that you are not listening to me. I do not have time for the bullshit. I don't. I have hundreds of emails. I got people DMing me. They want information. They want numbers. People want me to do their state. And that right there, that's pissing me off more than anything. When I tell you that these states right here, plus Texas, will give you your state and you don't believe me, you need to go to somebody else and ask for numbers. Stop playing with me. I am not your toy. I will see everybody at the winner's table regardless. Abundant prosperity in health and in wealth to all who follow me and believe in the hard work that you see me accomplishing every single day.